on, guys? It's Amethyst. So today I'm going to be talking about a few of my high school experiences. This started out as talking about people I've met in high school, but then I realized that my school's boring and there's not enough exciting people to talk about. So I changed it to just things that have happened. So yeah, it's story time. Get some popcorn, whatever. So first I'm going to talk about this kid. I think he's in grade 9. We call him Pencil Boy because he used to walk around with pencils in his hair, which is like the weirdest shit ever, but I don't know, he's doing him and whatever. But, so he's the weirdest kid. He like makes these weird ass noises, and like, this one time, me and my friend were like walking, and he literally just like runs up beside us and slides on the ground, like he's laying down in the middle of the hallway, and we're like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? But like, yeah, he's a cool dude. He's like, we're like this. He's super chill. Like when we go by each other in the hallway, we just like high five each other, like just kind of like that kind of shit. And he's my buddy. He's my best friend. It's kind of sad, but yeah. Second person I'm gonna talk about, we call him Potato Boy. I don't actually know what his real name is. When I was, it was last year. I was in grade 10, and I was with my friend, and we're like at my locker, and this random kid comes up to us and he's like, hey, you want a potato? We're like, what the fuck? Like, no. And he's just like, oh, alright. And then I was like, you know what? I want that potato. Hell yeah. And then we just started talking about shit, and yeah. Then, so I kept the potato, and I kept it in my room for like months. I don't know why, but like, I like kept it, and it started sprouting, which was kind of weird to watch because potatoes look weird as shit when they sprout. And I was like, alright, I gotta do something with this, so we planted it, and we had it in our backyard, and like it literally started growing. Like this potato that this random kid gave me, like I grew another potato with it, but then it died, and that was really sad. It was the end of a legacy. So at the beginning-ish of this year, I have this hat that I used to wear a lot. I don't really wear it anymore that often, but it's like this awesome ass hat. It's like a galaxy pattern, whatever. And I was wearing it this one day, and I was like leaving school, and this group of like grade 9s or whatever, they're like, oh hey, I like your hat. I'm like, oh thanks. Like I was so excited because like people don't compliment me, like that doesn't happen very often. And I was like, oh thanks. And then I walked away, and I was like talking to my friend. I was like, yay, I'm cool. And so it was just like nothing, right? And then the next day, I'm at my friend's locker, and there's this girl there, and like I don't know her or anything, and I look at her, and she's literally giving me this look. She's glaring at me. She looks like she wants to beat the shit out of me, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Like, I just kind of ignored it. Like the whole time I was there, she was just like, I don't know, like, and I just kind of let it go. And then my friend's like down at her locker, and I'm walking, I have to walk past her, and this bitch kicks her backpack in front of me, like trying to trip me or some shit, and I like saw it before, like I saw her kick it, and I was like, I stopped before it tripped me or anything, and I looked at her, I'm like, bitch, what the fuck? Like, what was that? And she's like, I saw you making fun of my friends yesterday, and I'm like, literally, I have no idea who the hell you are. What are you talking about? She's like, when we were being all nice to you and tried to compliment your hat, and you were just making fun of us. And I was like, okay, no, like, you're dumb. I don't know what you're thinking. Literally, I was making fun of myself because I'm not cool and people don't compliment me that often. And I like literally said thanks to you guys, and I was like, nice. And she's literally like getting up in my face. She's like, I know you're making fun of me. And I'm like, bitch, like, no, I'm not. So like literally this whole school year, well, not as much anymore now, but like for months, every time we pass each other in the hallway, she'd like glare at me, and I'm like, bitch, I never did anything to you. Like, Jesus Christ, calm down. So when I was in grade 8, there was this guy that, he was like the hottest guy in our grade, right? All the girls were like, oh my god, he's so cute, whatever. And I was one of them. I was basic, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna fall for the cute guy. So we had this dance, and I was like I was, for some reason, I don't know why, but I was wearing this dress and I was like super confident. I was like, hell yeah, I am slaying. And then, so I got to the dance and I see the guy and I'm like, ooh yeah, it's gonna go down. But he didn't pay any attention to me whatsoever, of course. But, so as I'm leaving the dance, I'm like, I walk by him and I kind of like, I like gave him this look. I was like, thinking I was like so hot. I probably looked like I was having a seizure or something. But, so after, like, I didn't go to school the next day. I had to go somewhere for something. And I texted my friend. I was like, guess who I danced with last night? And she's like, who? And I literally told most of my friends that I danced with this. I actually told them that I was grinding with him because I was that bitch. Like, I don't even want to talk about how horrible I was, but yeah, so I like made up this story that I danced with the hottest guy in our grade, and everyone, well, most people believed me. And then like a month later I was like, yeah, that wasn't true. Everyone got really mad at me and they were like, you're dumb, like what the fuck, why would you do that? And now looking back on it, I'm like, you're literally the worst. Like, can you stop? So every day before school I take the bus to school, and we always had the same bus driver. This was like, I think I was in grade 9 at this point. We always had the same bus driver, and so nobody ever had to press the stop button on the bus because he always knew that everybody got off at the school. And so this one time we had a new bus driver, and I didn't think of like the fact that she wouldn't know to stop. And so we're getting to our stop. There's like a red light right before our stop. And so she's like slowing down at the red light, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting my stuff. And I stand up and she stopped, and I'm like getting ready to get off, and then she keeps going and I fall on this guy that's like in my grade that I've known since like grade 1. Like we weren't friends or anything, but we like knew each other. We like knew each other's name, and like we'd been in the same class multiple times, and so I know this guy, and I literally fall on him on the bus, and it was the most embarrassing thing. Like everyone saw it, and like I saw him in the hallways after, and it was like the most embarrassing thing. I hate it. Like I just cringe every time. It's so bad. Ugh. So in grade 8, one of my best friends was dating this guy that I absolutely hated because he was such an asshole. Like he wasn't nice to her, he wasn't nice to me. I'd like never seen him be nice to anyone, so I like knew it like wasn't gonna end well or whatever. But I just kind of stayed back, and this one day he like literally at lunch he like made it his mission to like piss me off and be an ass to me for no reason. Like I didn't do anything. He comes up to me and I'm like with my friend, and I asked him, I was like, oh, how are you and Shailene doing? Like, you doing good and stuff? He's like, yeah, what about you two? And he like pointed at me and my friend, and I was like, I like put my arm around her, I'm like, yeah, we're together. And he literally, he's like, hey everyone, Amethyst just came out of the closet. And I was like, bitch, no. Like I literally looked at everyone, I was like, no, I didn't. And like multiple people came up to me afterwards and were like, are you lesbian? I'm like, no, like what the fuck? I mean, joke's on me because, you know, girls are pretty hot. But moving on. So he's literally like, he told everyone that I was gay, and then he sends his friend over. His friend comes over and he's like, Max told me to tell you that you have an abnormally large vagina. And I'm like, literally, I was like, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, that doesn't even, why would he say that? And like, of course, afterwards, me and my friends came up with like a bunch of comebacks, and I could have been like, oh, you have an abnormally small dick or something. I don't know, but in the moment, I was like, excuse me, I do not. Like, why would you say that? Because when I was younger, I was more like reserved and stuff, and I was super sensitive, and I got like really affected by that, and it like, I like cried and stuff. I was like, why does he say I have a giant vagina? I was like, I don't have one, I swear. And that was like the worst thing. But yeah, he's still an ass. So around the beginning of this year, me and my friend, we were in French class. We had a substitute. We had to do this like group thing. We had to like discuss a book or whatever. We hadn't read all the way up to where everyone else had. And so we were like, no, we're not gonna like, and so we both told our substitute, we're like, yeah, we both went up separately. We're like, I have a doctor's appointment. I gotta go. Like, And so, like, halfway through class, we didn't have anything to do, and so we just kind of sat in the hallway and, like, talked. And we were sitting, like, against some lockers, and this lady comes up to us, and, like, she's obviously an adult, so we're like, oh, it's like a teacher. Oh, shit. And, like, we'd never seen her before or anything, and so she comes up to us, she's like, what are you two doing? We're like, we're studying, duh, like... And she's like, oh, who's your teacher? She asked my friend first, and she says that she's in the French class, and she asked if she could just go do some homework. And he said yes, and I'm like, shit, like, now I can't say that. What am I gonna do? She's like, and what about you? Who's your teacher? And I just stared at her. My mind just blanked, and I was like, shit, I don't know what to say. She's giving me this look. She's like, I'm waiting, and I'm like, the ILC teacher, which is our, like, independent learning center. And I had that class in a different block, so I was like, maybe if she asks, they'll be like, oh yeah, she's in one of my classes, maybe it's this one. I don't know, I was panicking, I was like losing my shit. And she's like, and I'm like, no, like, I just asked to go do some homework. She's like, you need to be in class. And I'm like, okay, bitch, like, alright. And so I, like, went to my locker, and then I, like, went to some other bathroom, like, I didn't go back to class because my teacher thought I had a doctor's appointment. But, and later, I'm like, me and my friend are at lunch, and we're looking, and the teacher walks by, and we're like, oh, there, because we were talking to our friends about it, we're like, oh, that's her. And one of my friends is like, yeah, that's the vice principal. And we're like, fuck! Like, oh my god, we basically just got caught skipping by the vice principal, and, like, I don't know how, like, we got out of it and stuff, like, nobody found out or whatever, but, like, it was one of those moments where we're just like, shit, can you imagine if, like, she actually found out? Like, we would have been in shit, and that would not have been good. In our computer labs at school, we have, like, these pull-out things where the keyboards go, and people always write their phone numbers on there. It's like, call for a good time, and then they put their phone numbers on them. And me in grade 8, being the dumb bitch I was like, ooh, I'm gonna do it. I wonder if any boys are gonna text me, because I'm, like, so hot. And so I put my number on there. I'm like, text me, boys, or whatever. I don't even know. And, like, later that day, I was in class, and I get a text, and it's like, hey, from an unknown number, and I'm like, hey, who's this? Haha. And then, like, they text back, and they're like, I saw your number on the keyboard, and I'm like, ooh, shit! And I got, like, so excited, and this guy's texting me, and he's like, he told me his name was Caleb, and he's like, wanted to meet me and stuff, and I was, like, so excited. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna get a boyfriend. And anyway, so I'm waiting at lunch. He's like, oh, I'll meet you at this place, and I'm, like, waiting with my friends and stuff. And a couple of my friends come up to me, and they're like, did Caleb come yet? And I'm like, what? Like, how do you know about that? And they're like, yeah, it was us. And I was so mad. I was like, bitch, like, I was excited about this. What are you doing? Like, that's so rude. They'd, like, used someone's phone, like, I didn't have their number, so it was unknown and whatever. And I didn't talk to them for, like, a week and a half. They had to, like, buy me food. It's not sad. That's, like, how you get my forgiveness. Like, I literally hate you. I'll buy you food. You're good. I love you. Thank you. But yeah, so that's how I thought I was gonna get a boyfriend, because I was a dumb bitch, and yeah. So my last story, it happened, I think I was in grade 9, might have been grade 10, I don't actually remember. But I had a teacher, and we were, like, besties. He was, like, my favorite teacher. And one time, me and my friends, we, like, took a picture of him on, like, Fat Booth. I don't know, like, that was, like, a huge thing then. And we took a picture of him. And then I was doing this thing on Instagram. It was, like, a 30-day challenge or whatever. And one of the days was school, and I wasn't at school that day. So I was like, ooh, I'll post this picture of my teacher and be all rebellious. And so I posted it, and apparently someone showed him, which, like, I don't know who did that, because if I found out who did that, like, rude, why would you do that? And so I wasn't at school, and I get a text from my friend. It's like, you need to take that picture down off your Instagram. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What picture? And they're like, the picture of the teacher. And I'm like, why? Like, and they're like, yeah, he said he saw it, and you have to take it down. I'm like, no, he didn't. Like, I thought they were just shitting me or something. They were just like joking, and I was like, no, I don't believe you. So I texted my other friend, I'm like, is this true? And they're like, yeah, you gotta do that. And apparently he had said like he was gonna like report me to the school board or some shit, and I was like, dude, calm down, I'll delete the picture. I don't know why it's, I mean, I was dumb, and I was like, I don't know why it's such a big deal. I mean, I get why he wouldn't want that up, but like, I was like super scared. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna get suspended for posting this dumbass picture of my teacher. And so yeah, I got really scared there. I was like freaked out. So yeah, those are a few of my experiences from high school. It's been kind of shitty so far, but those were just some funny things that have happened that I thought I'd talk about. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like it. If you didn't, sorry about that. You should probably still like it because, you know, no, I'm just kidding. You'll probably unlike it now. Thanks. Good job, Amethyst. You just ruined it. Anyway, subscribe to my channel. I post videos every weekend. Leave below in the comments any requests you have for me to do, and I will see you next weekend.